Hey guys, welcome to this brand new channel with a new, rebooted, revamped version of The Weekly Wrestler. This is your one-stop shop for all the weekly wrestling news that you need to know. We have new episodes out every single Monday, so make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you get notified every single Monday when a new episode gets up. This week we got some big stuff to talk about. We got Toni Storm leaving WWE, Mercedes Martinez becoming All Elite, and Day 1, my thoughts and my reactions to the Day 1, the first ever Day 1 pay-per-view by WWE. Let's get right into it. As I said in the intro, the first story this week that we have is Toni Storm has left the WWE. Now, this is a little different than all the releases that we saw previously in the year. We saw several talents get released, but this was not a release. Toni Storm actually quit. You don't hear that very often, that people quit the WWE, but Toni Storm has done that. She said she's just burnt out. She's missed so much stuff, so many family events, so much big life events because of her job in the WWE, and she's not even really used. She just recently started getting used, but she said it's just too little, too late, so she took her ball and went home, and I don't blame her. Toni Storm is still very young. She's one of the best female wrestlers in the world. If she still wants to wrestle, she can go anywhere else that has a way less demanding schedule than WWE, probably get used a lot better, and maybe even make more money, because let's be honest, she probably wasn't making a whole ton in WWE because they weren't using her. They didn't see her as a top talent, so go somewhere else where they utilize you and realize your full potential. And I think this is a great decision by Toni Storm. Go home for a few months, get rest, get married to Juice Robinson, and then if you want to keep wrestling, which I assume she does, keep wrestling somewhere else, whether it's AEW, whether she goes to New Japan with Juice. I don't really want to see her go to Impact, but maybe she even goes to Impact. Who knows? There's plenty of great female talent there, but who knows where Toni Storm will go next. But I'm sure wherever she goes, she will become one of the top female talents within just a few short months, if not 1 month in general. Imagine Toni Storm facing off against Britt Baker. What a damn barn burner that match could be. And I think she's in the right. I think she should have left WWE. I think a lot more people should leave WWE before they get fired anyway, like a Cesaro, a Ricochet. Go somewhere else that they will appreciate you and utilize your talents to their fullest potential, just like Toni Storm's going to do. I can't wait to see where she goes next, and I think this was a smart move for her future. Speaking of smart moves, jumping over to a different women's division over at AEW, they have a new addition after this New Year's Smash episode of Dynamite where Mercedes Martinez has officially become All Elite, which this is not something I heard rumors of. I assumed she was just going to be sticking around Impact. Of course, Mercedes Martinez was in NXT for a decent amount of time. She never really went anywhere in NXT. Her matches always kind of felt... She had a pretty good feud with Io Shirai, but other than that, she never really impressed me. And then when she got called up to the main roster, she was put in Retribution, which is one of the biggest stink piles that we've seen in WWE in recent memory. And it's kind of funny because only one member of that I think is still in the company. So you kind of see where that stable went, don't you? And then she was part of the releases last year, and everyone was mad because she represents the LGBTQ plus community. So everyone was like, where does she go next? I don't think that's a good move for WWE. She showed up at Impact. She's done some pretty cool stuff outside of WWE in the last few months, but now she shows up in a surprise debut on Dynamite, announcing that she's All Elite. I'm someone that doesn't think everyone that gets released from WWE should go to AEW, and this isn't one I was clamoring for exactly, but I think, she is a little bit older than some of the talents there in AEW, so she could probably guide the women's division a little bit, because let's be honest, if AEW has one fault, it's their women's division. They got a couple really great talents there, they got a couple good ones, and then they got a lot that are just and that's a lot of the really young ones. So maybe a person like Mercedes Martinez can come in, have some damn good matches, but then she can coach them, kind of like a Serena Deeb, coach them into becoming better wrestlers themselves. So while I'm not super over the moon excited to see Mercedes Martinez face off against people in AEW, I am excited what it could do for the future of the AEW women's roster, because I think more people are going to come in, whether it's a Toni Storm, a Tegan Nox, whoever, and I think Mercedes Martinez could steer a little bit of the ship, take over some of the steering, and make the AEW women's roster better as we head into the rest of 2022. So good signing overall for AEW. Now, let's jump back over to WWE to talk about the newest pay-per-view. I'm sorry, not pay-per-view. They're not calling them pay-per-views anymore. Premium live event day one. The first day one. They're building this day one up because it's a Nick Khan idea, who's like the new Vince McMahon kind of. He's kind of making a lot of the big decisions, it seems like, and they want this to become one of their big pay-per-views. They want it to become a yearly thing, and this was the first one, the inaugural one. So this one was supposed to be big, and it started off great because we got the New Day versus the Usos for like the 1000th time, but they always put on a barn burner, and boy oh boy did they deliver, because this match was the best match on the card for sure. They opened up with the best, and you knew this was going to be a good match. I wasn't quite sure. I thought the Usos would win, but you never know with these guys. They toss the belts back and forth every 5 months, it feels like, and the Usos did get the win. But I hope and I assume we're probably going to get another match between these guys at the Royal Rumble Premium Live event, because they tore the freaking house down. And even after the pay-per-view was over, I was still thinking about this match, even though I slogged through the rest of the pay-per-view. Then what was the next match? Was it, oh man, I don't even remember the next match. This match was so good. I know we had RK Bro. We'll just go out of order. I know all the matches. I just don't know which came next. We had RK Bro defending the Raw Tag Team titles against the Street Profits. And the Migos, oddly enough, came out with RK Bro and not the Street Profits. This match was decent. It was nothing like exceptional, but everyone got their stuff in. Everyone had a good time. Kind of felt like this match could have been on Raw, but it was good nonetheless. RK Bro picks up the win, and then they all celebrate together with the Migos. It just kind of felt odd that the Migos didn't come out with the Street Profits, but hey, whatever. I'm not here to judge. Of course, we had Becky Lynch defending her Raw Women's Championship against Liv Morgan in a rematch from the last Premium Live event. This feud is not something I've been huge on, but this match was way better than I assumed it would be, because the first match was okay that they had. This match was actually really freaking good. It kind of showed, while Becky Lynch is still top dog, Liv Morgan kind of showed what she can do, and while she might not win that championship, I think she probably has earned herself a top spot, at least in the Raw Women's roster, moving forward. Another match that we had was Edge versus Miz. This match was something I was looking forward to. I know a lot of people have been dumping on this feud because it's similar to the MJF CM Punk feud, but I don't mind. Whatever. I like both guys. I like both guys over there. It's fine. Edge and Miz, both great talents. Both kind of underappreciated. Like, a lot of people don't put Edge in like their top 10 of all time. People don't really clamor Miz as much as they used to even, but this match was something I was looking forward to. I kind of figured how it went, and it did go that way, but it was cool to see Edge come out with the Brood music and then flash into the Rated R Superstar theme, and this was a very entertaining match. Miz looked like $100. Like, I think this is going to propel Miz probably into future main event spots after this is over. Maybe he feuds again for the WWE Championship. We'll have to wait and see, but of course, Edge picks up the win with help from Beth Phoenix returning. So I assume at the Royal Rumble or something, we're going to get Edge and Beth versus Miz and Maurice, which is something I am down to see. And I also kind of want to see Seth and Becky versus Edge and Beth Phoenix. I think that could be fun as well. So we'll have to wait and see how that all pans out. But overall, this was another fun match. Probably it's better than the RK Bro match. In my opinion, it was more fun to watch than the Becky match, so it's like up towards the New Day, but nowhere near as good as that New Day versus Usos match. And then, of course, we had the main, oh yeah, that's the match I forgot. Drew McIntyre versus Riddick Moss. Of course I forgot that match, because it was kind of a snoozer. Riddick Moss, I don't understand this whole Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss thing. They're both boring as ass. Like, they're both so boring. Drew McIntyre just got stuck in this poopy feud because they don't know what to do with him right now. And apparently now he's written off TV with a legit cervical injury, which that sucks that this was like his last thing. Who knows if he'll be at WrestleMania or not. I'm just glad Drew ended up getting the win. If Madcap Moss would have beat him, I would have been very upset. Now we can talk about the main event, where we saw Big E defending the WWE Championship in a fatal 5-way match after Roman Reigns contracted the COVID-19s, and Brock Lesnar got added to this match instead. So we got Big E defending against Bobby Lashley, Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, and Brock Lesnar. This match was a ton of fun. Was it a technically sound match? No, this match was complete chaos. There was bodies flying everywhere, but Big E looked like a friggin' beast. Bobby Lashley looked like $1,000,000. Seth and Kevin looked great together. I kind of think they're building towards Seth and Kevin taking the titles from RK Bro. And Brock looked good as well, just hitting everyone with suplexes, taking a wicked-looking spear from Bobby through the barricade. And then Brock picks up Big E, F5s him, pins him, Brock Lesnar is now the new WWE champion, and it looks like we're finally going to get that Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley feud. I've been wanting to see that feud for a long time. I just wish it didn't come at the cost of Big E's title run, because it felt like it was just getting to where it should have been. Like, it kind of felt like they were kind of underutilizing his championship run a little bit, and it kind of felt like if he got this win, then it would have been bumped up to that level where it should have been all along. But nonetheless, Brock Lesnar beat him. It looks like we're getting Lesnar versus Lashley. I do want to see that. I'm just bummed about Big E losing the title that fast. And I'm kind of worried about where Big E goes from here, because like it looked like he was going to be in one of the big matches at WrestleMania. Now, who knows? Does he face Goldberg? I mean, I guess that's a big match, but it doesn't feel like a big match, you know what I mean? So overall, it was a pretty solid pay-per-view, but it just didn't feel good enough to become one of the big pay-per-views like they want it to be. And I'm curious as to where this leaves Roman and Brock. I don't know what's going to happen there. I'm curious if they are going to unify the titles, and where does that leave the Royal Rumble winner? We'll have to wait and see, but day one, solid enough. Definitely check it out. At least those 4 matches. You could probably skip the RK Bro and the Drew McIntyre match. You could probably get through skipping those. But yeah, day one was solid enough. It just didn't feel like it's going to become the next big pay-per-view. But hey, what do I know? I'm not Nick Khan. Or am I? Make sure you guys comment down below with what your thoughts are on all this week's news, what you think of day one, and what do you think is going to happen on this week's New Year's Evil, Dynamite, and Battle of the Belts on Saturday. We're going to talk about all those events and whatever news breaks next week on The Weekly Wrestler. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell while you're at it. Thank you all for watching this debut episode. I'll see you guys right here next week.